Liam and Noah were brothers who loved adventure more than anything else. They lived in a small town, surrounded by hills and forests, and every weekend they tried to find something exciting to do. Liam was the older brother. He was careful but curious. Noah was younger, full of energy and always ready to try something new. Together, they made a perfect team for adventures. One Saturday morning, Liam was scrolling through an old website that listed unusual properties for sale. The website had all sorts of strange listings, from tiny houses shaped like mushrooms to abandoned barns in the countryside. Noah was sitting beside him, eating toast and looking over his shoulder. "Look at this," Liam said, pointing at the screen. "There is a cabin for sale in the countryside. It only costs $5. Noah laughed so hard that some of his toast almost fell off the table. $5? Are you serious? That must be a joke. Who would sell a cabin for $5? Liam smiled. Maybe someone wants to get rid of it. Or maybe it's an adventure waiting for us. Noah's eyes sparkled. An adventure for $5? That sounds like a story we can tell everyone. Let's check it out. The cabin looked small in the pictures. It had wooden walls that were faded, a roof that seemed a little broken, and windows that looked dusty. But the forest behind it looked beautiful. The green trees stretched far into the distance, and the sunlight made the grass shine. Liam and Noah felt a sudden excitement. "We have to go see it," Liam said. "Even if it is small, it could be fun." Noah nodded. "And for $5, we can't lose." "Let's do it!" They called the number on the listing and spoke to an old man who had owned the cabin for many years. He said it had been empty for a long time and he wanted someone to take care of it. After a few minutes, Liam clicked a button and sent the $5 online. The cabin was theirs. Buddy, their dog, a small brown Labrador, jumped around excitedly as if he knew something magical was waiting. He barked and ran in circles, wagging his tail. Liam laughed. "Looks like Buddy is ready for our adventure too." That weekend, the brothers packed their car with a few essentials: some clothes, food, blankets, a small toolbox, and lanterns. They also brought Buddy's bed and food. The drive to the cabin took 2 hours, and both brothers could not stop talking about what they might find. When they arrived, the cabin was even smaller than in the pictures. The wooden walls were cracked in some places, and the paint was peeling. The windows were dusty and the door squeaked when they opened it. But the forest around the cabin was even more beautiful than they had imagined. The air smelled fresh and birds sang in the trees. The grass was soft and a small stream ran behind the cabin. Noah jumped out of the car and ran to the edge of the forest. "Look at this place." "It is perfect for exploring," Liam smiled. "It may be old, but it has character. Imagine the stories it could tell if it could talk." Buddy ran ahead, sniffing everything in the yard. He jumped over a log and rolled on the grass. Sometimes he barked at birds or chased butterflies. The brothers laughed, enjoying the energy of their dog and the peaceful surroundings. The cabin had only one small room inside. There was a wooden floor, a fireplace, and a few shelves. A small kitchen corner had a sink and an old wooden table. The brothers looked around, imagining how they could fix and decorate it. Even though it was old and a little broken, it had a warmth that made them feel at home immediately. Liam opened one window and let the sunlight in. "This place has potential. We can clean it, paint it, and make it amazing." Noah was already examining the fireplace. "And we can have a fire here in the evenings. It will be perfect for cold nights." Buddy ran to the corner of the room and started sniffing something on the floor. He pawed at it carefully and then looked back at the brothers as if he wanted them to see. Liam walked over. "What's he doing?" he asked. Noah knelt down and saw that one of the wooden planks on the floor was slightly loose. "Maybe Buddy found something," he said. They both knelt and tried to lift the plank. Underneath, there was a small trapdoor. Liam's eyes widened. "A trapdoor? In a cabin this small?" Buddy barked happily and wagged his tail. The brothers exchanged excited looks. "Should we open it?" Liam asked. Noah nodded. "Of course. Who knows what could be inside?" They lifted the trapdoor and saw a dusty wooden box. It was old but strong. Liam carefully lifted it out and set it on the floor. They brushed away the dust and slowly opened it. Inside, they found old letters, photographs, and some small objects wrapped in cloth. The letters were yellowed with age, but the handwriting was neat and careful. Liam picked up the first letter and began to read aloud. It was from a family who had lived in the cabin many years ago. The letters told stories of love, friendship, and dreams. Some were written by parents to children, encouraging them to be kind, to follow their hearts, and to never give up. Noah picked up a photograph. It showed a little girl smiling in front of the cabin, holding a dog that looked just like Buddy. His tail wagged as he looked at the photograph. It was as if he recognized something familiar. Liam and Noah looked at each other. "These are memories," Noah said softly. "Someone's life hidden away in this cabin." They carefully examined the other letters and photographs. Some letters spoke of hard times when the family had to work very hard to grow food and take care of each other. Other letters celebrated small joys, birthdays, snowy days, and simple moments of happiness. Every letter made the brothers feel more connected to the family who had once lived here. Buddy stayed close to them, lying on the floor and occasionally nudging a photograph or letter with his nose. The brothers felt a strange warmth in their hearts. They realized the cabin was not just an old building. It was a place full of stories, emotions, and dreams. That evening they sat by the fireplace reading the letters by the soft light of a lantern. The cabin, which had seemed empty before, now felt alive. Liam read aloud funny stories from the letters, and Noah laughed at the little adventures the family had shared. Sometimes they both paused, feeling touched by a memory of love or kindness. Buddy curled up at their feet, sensing the happiness and warmth in the room. As night fell, the forest outside became quiet. The stars shone brightly in the sky and the moonlight lit up the cabin. Liam and Noah sat silently for a moment, thinking about how lucky they were to find this place. A cabin for $5 had turned into something magical. Noah whispered, "I never thought $5 could bring something so special." Liam nodded. "It's more than a cabin. It's a treasure of memories, and we are the ones who get to discover it." Buddy let out a small bark as if agreeing with them. The brothers smiled and continued reading the letters, feeling grateful for the unexpected gift of adventure, discovery, and connection. The $5 cabin, which had seemed like a tiny, forgotten place, was now a world full of stories. The brothers did not know what other secrets it held, but they were ready to explore. They had no idea that this was just the beginning of a journey that would change their lives forever. The next morning, the sun rose over the forest, casting golden light on the little cabin. Liam and Noah woke early, excited for the day ahead. Buddy, their small brown Labrador, was already up, wagging his tail and sniffing around the cabin. The air smelled fresh and sweet, filled with the scent of pine trees and flowers. Liam stretched and looked around. "We should explore the backyard today," he said. "There might be more hidden things here." Noah smiled. "Yes, and we can check the woods nearby. Who knows what we might find." Buddy barked happily as if he understood every word. He ran to the corner of the cabin and sniffed at the floor. His paws scratched at something again, just like yesterday. Liam and Noah exchanged a curious glance. "Do you think he found something under the floor again?" Liam asked. Noah nodded. "Let's see." The brothers knelt and examined the floor carefully. Sure enough, a small plank in the corner was slightly loose. Liam lifted it gently, and underneath was the trapdoor they had discovered yesterday. Buddy barked and wagged his tail, excited by the attention. Liam and Noah pulled the trapdoor open once more and looked inside. The wooden box was still there, covered in dust. Yesterday, they had only gone through a few letters and photographs. Today, they decided to explore it completely. Noah carefully lifted the box and placed it on the table. "I wonder what else we will find," he said. Inside the box, they found more letters, each tied with a small ribbon. The ribbons were faded but still intact. They also found a small leather notebook and a bundle of tiny objects wrapped in cloth. Liam untied one ribbon and opened a letter. The handwriting was neat, and the words were full of warmth. The letter was from the mother of the family who had lived in the cabin. She wrote about her children, about their laughter, and the small joys that made life happy. She mentioned how they played by the stream, helped plant vegetables, and celebrated every little achievement together. Her words made Liam and Noah smile. Noah picked up another photograph. It showed the little girl from before standing next to a small wooden swing tied to a tree. Her smile was bright and she looked so happy. Buddy barked and wagged his tail, almost as if he remembered something from long ago. "Look at this," Liam said softly. "These letters are like a window into their life. It's amazing how much care and love they had here." The brothers spent hours reading each letter. Some were written by the father, sharing advice and stories. Others were from the children to each other, talking about games, dreams, and small adventures. Each letter carried a piece of happiness, hope, or love. Noah found the small leather notebook and opened it. Inside were drawings of the cabin, the forest, and the nearby stream. Some drawings showed the children playing with their dog, building small wooden boats and climbing trees. Liam and Noah looked at each other with wide eyes. They loved this place, Liam said, and they left it full of memories for whoever found it. The brothers carefully examined the small objects wrapped in cloth. There was a tiny wooden toy, a small locket with a picture inside, and a little hand-carved figure of a bird. Each object seemed to tell a story of its own. Liam picked up the locket and opened it. Inside was a small photograph of the little girl smiling, holding her dog. Noah looked at Buddy and laughed. It's almost like Buddy is connected to this family somehow. Buddy barked again and ran to the door as if he wanted to show them something. The brothers followed him outside. He led them to the edge of the forest near the cabin, where a small path went between the trees. The path looked old and overgrown, but Buddy walked confidently, sniffing the ground and wagging his tail. "Do you think he wants us to follow him?" Liam asked. Noah shrugged. "Let's see where he goes." They followed Buddy down the path. After a few minutes, they reached a small clearing with a stream running through it. The water sparkled in the sunlight and small fish swam near the edge. There was a wooden swing tied to a tree, exactly like the one in the photograph. Liam and Noah stared in amazement. "This is incredible," Noah said. "It's exactly like in the pictures." Buddy ran to the swing and barked happily. He jumped and pawed at the grass near the tree. Liam and Noah smiled. They realized the family must have played here every day, just like the letters and photographs had described. They decided to explore the rest of the clearing. Behind a cluster of bushes, they found a small wooden box buried slightly in the ground. Liam and Noah carefully dug it out. Inside, there were more objects: a small wooden birdhouse, a hand-carved wooden figure of a bear, and a bundle of more letters. Noah opened one of the letters. It was from the little girl to her parents, telling them about her day at school and how much she loved playing with her dog. She mentioned how the cabin and the forest made her feel safe and happy. Liam smiled and put a hand on Noah's shoulder. "These people really love this place," he said, "and they wanted someone to find it and care for it like they did." The brothers spent the rest of the day exploring the yard, the small clearing, and the path behind the cabin. Buddy ran ahead, sniffing every corner and barking at birds and squirrels. They discovered wildflowers, hidden rocks, and even a small tree with a carved heart and the initials of the children. Each discovery made their hearts feel warmer. In the evening, they returned to the cabin, tired but happy. Liam lit a small fire in the fireplace and Noah made tea. Buddy curled up on a blanket by the fire, tired from the long day of exploring. The brothers placed all the letters, photographs, and objects carefully on the table, looking at them with wonder. "I never imagined a $5 cabin could have so much history," Liam said softly. Noah nodded. "It's more than history. It's like we found a treasure chest full of love, memories, and happiness." They spent the evening reading letters aloud and talking about the family who had once lived there. Buddy listened quietly, occasionally nudging a letter with his nose. The brothers laughed at funny stories, felt touched by kind words, and shared a peaceful moment by the fire. As night fell, the stars shone brightly above the cabin. The forest was quiet and the stream sparkled under the moonlight. Liam and Noah felt a deep connection to the place. It was not just a cabin for $5. It was a home filled with memories waiting to be discovered and cherished. Buddy barked softly and ran to the window, looking out at the forest. The brothers watched him and smiled. They knew that this was the beginning of a long journey of discovery, adventure, and emotional connection. Noah whispered, "I think this cabin is going to change our lives." Liam nodded. "And Buddy is our guide. He led us to everything we found today." The brothers went to bed that night feeling happy and excited. They dreamed about the family who had lived there, about the adventures they could have, and about the secrets that might still be hidden in the cabin. The small old cabin for $5 had become a place of wonder, joy, and connection. The next day, they promised to explore even more. They were ready to uncover every secret, every letter, and every memory that the cabin held. They knew that with Buddy by their side, every discovery would be more exciting and meaningful. The $5 cabin, which had seemed so simple at first, was now full of stories. Liam and Noah could not wait to see what else they would find, and they knew that their adventure had only just begun. The morning sun poured through the cabin windows, casting a warm glow across the wooden floor. Liam and Noah woke early, eager to continue their discovery. Buddy, their small brown Labrador, was already awake and running around, sniffing the corners of the cabin as if he knew something important awaited. Liam stretched and looked at the box of letters and photographs on the table. "I think today we should read more of these letters. There are so many, and each one tells a story," he said. Noah nodded, his eyes bright with curiosity. "Yes, and maybe we will understand more about the family who lived here. I want to know their story completely." Buddy barked softly, wagging his tail, and ran to the corner of the room where the small wooden box had been resting. The brothers smiled, realizing that Buddy was excited to help them discover more. They opened the box carefully and pulled out a stack of letters tied with faded ribbons. The first letter they read that morning was from the father of the family. His handwriting was strong and steady, and his words carried a sense of care and responsibility. He wrote about how proud he was of his children and how he hoped they would always stay kind, honest, and brave. Noah read aloud, "I hope you always help each other and never forget that happiness comes from small things. A smile, a kind word, or a small act of help can change the world around you." Liam nodded. He really cared about teaching his children good values. It's amazing how much love is in these letters. They continued reading, discovering more letters from the mother. She wrote about her children's daily adventures, the fun they had playing in the yard, and how they helped each other. Sometimes her words were funny, describing little accidents or playful fights, and sometimes they were serious, giving advice about life and how to be kind and gentle. Noah found a letter that made him smile. It was written by the little girl to her parents. She wrote about her day playing by the stream and how much she loved the forest. She mentioned her dog, describing how he ran happily through the trees, chased birds, and made everyone laugh. Liam looked at Buddy, and the dog barked softly, wagging his tail. "It is like Buddy is connected to this family," Liam said softly. "He feels at home here, just like they must have felt." They spent the entire morning reading and exploring the letters. Every story gave them a sense of the family's life. They laughed at funny moments, felt touched by kind words, and sometimes paused in silence when a story was especially moving. Each letter carried emotions that seemed to cross time and reach them directly. Noah picked up a photograph showing the children sitting by the fireplace. The little girl had a bright smile, and her brother had a serious but happy expression. Their dog was sitting beside them, looking proud. The photograph was old and faded, but the happiness in it was clear. "Look at this," Noah said. "Even though we have never met them, I feel like we know them already." Liam nodded. It's amazing how much we can feel from pictures and words. They wanted someone to know their story, and now we are reading it. After a while, they decided to go outside. The air was fresh, and the forest seemed alive with birds and insects. Buddy ran ahead, exploring every corner of the yard, occasionally barking at a butterfly or a small squirrel. Liam and Noah followed him, carrying the letters and photographs carefully. They walked to the clearing by the stream, the same one Buddy had led them to yesterday. The swing tied to the tree moved slightly in the breeze. Liam reached out and touched it gently. "This must be where they spent hours playing and laughing," he said. Noah looked around the clearing. "I can imagine them here. The little girl swinging, the boy climbing trees, and the dog running around. It must have been so happy here." Buddy ran to the swing and barked softly. He seemed to invite them to sit and imagine the past. The brothers sat on the grass holding some of the photographs. They began telling each other the stories they had read in the letters, imagining the family's life in the cabin. "The father sounds like he was very wise," Liam said. "He cared about teaching his children important things, but also letting them enjoy life." Noah smiled. "And the mother gave them so much love. Even in simple letters, I can feel how much she cared about them and their happiness." As the day passed, Liam and Noah explored more of the clearing. They found the small wooden box buried in the ground yesterday, and decided to look through it again. This time they carefully examined every object. There was a tiny wooden bird, a carved figure of a bear, and a small bundle of letters from the children to each other. The letters were simple but full of joy. The children wrote about the games they played, the animals they saw, and the adventures they had in the forest. Sometimes they wrote about helping each other, sharing food, or finding little treasures in the yard. Liam and Noah read each letter slowly, smiling at the happiness the family had shared. Noah held one of the letters carefully. They wanted someone to understand how much love and joy can be found in simple things. It's amazing, Liam nodded. It makes me realize how lucky we are to have found this place. We get to experience a part of their life and keep their memories alive. Buddy barked happily and ran to a small rock near the stream. He dug gently and uncovered a tiny object wrapped in cloth. Liam picked it up and opened it. It was a small hand-carved figure of a dog very similar to Buddy. Noah laughed. It's like he's connected to them even now. The brothers felt a deep connection to the family they had never met. They realized that this cabin was more than just an old building. It was a place full of love, memories, and lessons about life. Each discovery made them feel closer to the family and to each other. As the sun began to set, the golden light reflecting on the stream made the clearing look magical. Liam and Noah carried some letters and photographs back to the cabin. Buddy ran ahead, eager to get inside and rest. That evening, they sat by the fireplace reading letters aloud. Liam read stories from the father and mother, while Noah read letters from the children. Sometimes they laughed together, and sometimes they sat quietly, feeling touched by the words. Buddy lay curled up at their feet, occasionally nudging a photograph with his nose. I never imagined a small cabin could hold so much life and happiness, Noah said softly. Liam nodded. It's more than just happiness. It's love, care, and memories that have lasted for years. And we are the ones who get to continue this story in some way. The brothers made a small plan. They decided to keep the cabin a place of memories. They would display the letters and photographs carefully and make sure the objects they found were safe. They wanted the story of the family to be remembered and shared just like the family had hoped. Buddy barked softly as if agreeing with their plan. The brothers smiled and patted him. They realized that the dog had led them not just to discoveries, but to a deeper understanding of the love and care that filled the cabin. As night fell, the forest outside the cabin grew quiet. The stars shone brightly and the moonlight reflected on the wooden walls of the cabin. Liam and Noah sat in silence for a few minutes, feeling grateful for everything they had found. This cabin is more than a house, Liam said. It's a treasure of memories, and it feels like the family is still here, watching over it. Noah nodded. And Buddy is a part of it too. He seems happy and connected. I think he knew this place was special the moment we arrived. They spent the rest of the night reading a few more letters and looking at photographs. Every word, every smile, and every small object made them feel closer to the family. They realized that even though the cabin had been empty for years, it was still full of life. The $5 cabin had become a place of discovery, connection, and heartfelt emotion. Liam and Noah felt lucky to be there, to uncover the stories and to share in the memories. They knew that this was only the beginning of their adventure, and that the cabin still held many secrets waiting to be discovered. As they went to bed, Buddy curled up beside them, content and calm. The brothers dreamed of the family, of the adventures they had, and of the happiness that had once filled the cabin. The letters, photographs, and small treasures were more than objects. They were a bridge to the past, connecting Liam and Noah to the lives of people who had loved, laughed, and dreamed in this little cabin. Tomorrow, they promised each other, they would continue exploring and discovering. There were still corners of the cabin and the surrounding forest that they had not seen. Each discovery would bring them closer to the family and deepen the heartfelt connection that already filled their hearts. The cabin, small and old, had become a place of love, joy, and meaningful discovery. Liam, Noah, and Buddy had found more than memories. They had found a connection that would stay with them forever. The next morning, Liam and Noah woke with excitement. After discovering so many letters, photographs, and small treasures, they decided it was time to do more than just read and explore. They wanted to bring the cabin back to life. It had been empty and forgotten for years, but they could see its true beauty. The wooden walls, though old, had a charm that made them feel peaceful and happy. Buddy was already awake, wagging his tail and running around the cabin. He sniffed every corner as if he knew that this day would be special. Liam and Noah smiled. They had packed a few tools, paint, brushes, and cleaning supplies, and they were ready to begin. Let's start with the outside, Liam said. If we make it look nice from the yard, it will feel more welcoming. Noah nodded. And then we can work on the inside. I want it to be cozy and comfortable, but we should keep its original charm too. Buddy barked happily and ran to the yard. The grass was a little long, and weeds had grown around the old path leading to the forest. Liam and Noah spent the first hour clearing the yard. They pulled weeds, trimmed small bushes, and gathered fallen branches. Buddy helped in his own way, running around and carrying small sticks in his mouth. Once the yard looked tidy, they moved on to the cabin's exterior. The wooden walls had peeling paint, and some boards looked old and weak. Liam carefully hammered a few loose boards back into place while Noah cleaned the windows. They opened the shutters, wiped the glass, and let sunlight fill the cabin. "This is already looking better," Noah said, stepping back to admire their work. Liam smiled. "It is. It feels like the cabin is waking up from a long sleep." After a while, they started painting. They chose a soft, warm color that would blend with the forest. The smell of fresh paint mixed with the scent of pine trees, creating a peaceful feeling. Buddy ran around them, occasionally brushing against their legs and looking up as if encouraging them. Once the exterior was done, they moved inside. The floorboards were dusty and a few nails had come loose. Liam carefully hammered the boards back into place, making sure the floor was safe and sturdy. Noah cleaned the fireplace, wiped the shelves, and dusted the furniture that had been left behind. The cabin began to feel warm and inviting, a place that could welcome anyone who entered. As they worked, they placed the letters, photographs, and small objects they had found in careful order. Liam made a small shelf near the fireplace to display the letters tied with ribbons. Noah arranged the photographs on another shelf, making sure each one was visible and could be enjoyed. Buddy sat nearby, watching every movement and occasionally nudging an object as if he wanted to help. During lunch, they sat outside on the grass, enjoying sandwiches and fresh water from the stream. The forest was quiet except for the gentle sound of the water and birds singing in the trees. Liam looked at Noah. "I feel like we are part of this family's story now. We get to care for their cabin and honor their memories." Noah smiled. "Yes, and we are learning so much from their life. Even small things like how they played, laughed, and took care of each other teach us something important." After lunch, they returned to work. They noticed an old treehouse behind the cabin, hidden under some branches. It was small and a little broken, but they could see the fun the children must have had there. Liam carefully climbed up and checked the structure while Noah cleared the area around it. "It is safe," Liam said. "We just need to fix a few boards and clean it." Noah nodded. "Let's do it." They would have loved to see it repaired. They worked together, replacing broken boards, sanding rough edges, and adding a small rope ladder for easier access. Once it was done, the treehouse looked like a perfect little hideout, just as it might have been when the family lived here. Buddy barked happily and ran around the tree as if celebrating their work. By late afternoon, the brothers were tired but satisfied. The cabin looked alive. The yard was clean, the paint was fresh, the windows sparkled, and the treehouse was ready for visitors. Inside, the letters and photographs created a story of love, joy, and family life. Each corner of the cabin felt cared for and safe. Noah picked up a small wooden toy they had found in the hidden box. "This little toy must have been important to the children. We should keep it where it can be seen." Liam nodded. "Yes, everything we found has a story. Let's display them all so that anyone who comes here can feel the happiness this cabin once held." As the sun began to set, the golden light filled the cabin. Liam and Noah sat by the fireplace with Buddy at their feet, looking at the letters, photographs, and small objects. The cabin, which had seemed empty before, now felt full of life and memories. "This is more than just a cabin," Liam said softly. "It is a home full of stories, and we are lucky to be here to care for it." Noah nodded. "I never imagined a small cabin for $5 could bring so much joy and discovery. Every letter, every photograph, every little object tells a story, and we get to share it." Buddy barked happily and ran to the window looking at the forest. Liam and Noah watched him and smiled. They realized that Buddy had been part of the adventure from the very beginning, helping them find the hidden treasures and guiding them to the clearing by the stream. That night, they cooked a simple meal and sat by the fireplace reading a few more letters. They laughed at funny stories, felt touched by kind words, and sometimes sat quietly, reflecting on the love and care that had filled this cabin years ago. Liam looked at Noah and said, "I think this cabin is teaching us something important. It is showing us that happiness comes from caring for others, appreciating small things, and sharing love and kindness." Noah smiled. "Yes, and it is also showing us how memories can last forever if they are treasured." This family's love is still alive here, through these letters, photographs, and small objects. The brothers spent the evening making plans for the future. They wanted to continue restoring the cabin, exploring the forest, and discovering any hidden corners or treasures that might still exist. They decided to keep the cabin a place of peace, joy, and stories, honoring the family who had once lived there. Buddy curled up at their feet, tired from the day's work, but happy. The brothers felt a deep sense of satisfaction and connection. The $5 cabin, which had seemed so small and ordinary, was now a place of wonder, memories, and love. As they went to bed, the stars shone brightly over the forest. The cabin stood quietly in the golden moonlight, no longer empty or forgotten. It had become a home filled with warmth, adventure, and heartfelt stories. Liam, Noah, and Buddy had not only discovered hidden treasures, but they had also brought the cabin back to life. The brothers knew that their adventure was far from over. There were still many letters to read, photographs to study, and objects to explore. The cabin held more secrets, and they were excited to uncover each one. With Buddy by their side, every discovery felt meaningful and joyful. Liam whispered, "I am glad we found this cabin. It is teaching us more than I could have imagined." Noah nodded. "It is a place of learning, memories, and happiness, and it is ours to care for now." The cabin, once abandoned and forgotten, was now alive with stories, love, and hope. The brothers had turned it into a place of joy and connection, and they knew that the family who had lived there long ago would be proud of what they had done. Buddy let out a soft bark, curling up beside them. The forest was quiet, the stream flowed gently, and the cabin glowed warmly from the fireplace. Liam and Noah fell asleep with smiles on their faces, dreaming of the adventures and discoveries that awaited them in the days to come. The $5 cabin had become so much more than a simple purchase. It was now a treasure, a home, and a connection to the past. Liam and Noah had found not just memories, but lessons of love, care, and the joy of bringing something back to life. The next morning, sunlight filled the cabin with a warm, golden glow. Liam and Noah woke early, feeling excited and happy. After all the discoveries and the work they had done, they could feel the cabin coming alive. Every corner, every letter, and every photograph seemed to carry a story that was now part of their own lives. Buddy, their small brown Labrador, jumped onto the bed and barked softly. He wagged his tail and ran to the window, looking out at the forest. Liam and Noah smiled. Their dog had been their companion and guide since the very beginning of this adventure, helping them find the hidden treasures and leading them to the clearing by the stream. "We should explore a little more today," Liam said, stretching. "There might still be places around the cabin we have not seen." Noah nodded. "Yes, and I want to make sure everything is organized inside. The letters, photographs, and objects should be displayed nicely so that anyone who visits can understand the story of this place." After a simple breakfast, the brothers stepped outside. The yard was already neat, the treehouse repaired, and the path to the forest cleared. Buddy ran ahead, sniffing and exploring every corner, occasionally barking at birds and squirrels. The forest felt peaceful and alive, full of the sounds of nature. They walked to the clearing by the stream once again. The swing moved gently in the breeze, and the sunlight reflected on the water. Liam picked up a photograph showing the children playing near the stream with their dog. Noah looked at it and smiled. "It is amazing how much happiness they had here, and we get to keep their memories alive." Liam nodded. "Yes, it is like we are part of their story now. We have a responsibility to care for this place and make it special." They decided to spend the morning arranging the cabin's interior. Liam built small wooden shelves to display the letters and photographs. Noah carefully placed the small objects like the hand-carved bird, the little wooden toy, and the locket on the shelves so that each one could be seen and appreciated. Buddy sat nearby, watching and occasionally nudging an object with his nose, as if making sure everything was in the right place. As they worked, the brothers found themselves smiling and sometimes laughing at the stories in the letters. There were stories about small adventures in the forest, about learning to bake bread, planting vegetables, and celebrating birthdays. Each letter carried a feeling of joy and love that seemed to cross time and reach them directly. Noah picked up a letter written by the mother. It said, "To whoever finds this someday, I hope this cabin brings you happiness and peace. Treat it well and it will share its joy with you." Liam felt a lump in his throat. They wanted someone to care for this place, and I think we are doing it the right way. Noah nodded. "Yes, and it feels like we are connected to them, even though we never met them. After arranging the cabin, the brothers went outside to check the surrounding forest. Buddy led the way, sniffing every tree and bush. They discovered a small patch of wildflowers and a few rocks with moss growing on them. The forest felt magical, and the brothers could imagine the children playing here years ago. They decided to leave the wildflowers as they were, so the area could continue to feel natural and beautiful. By afternoon, they returned to the cabin. They were tired but happy. The cabin looked inviting, warm, and full of life. The letters and photographs told the story of the family. The small objects carried memories, and the repaired treehouse and yard brought joy back to the space. Buddy lay down near the fireplace, content and calm. Liam looked around the cabin and smiled. "I think we have done a good job." "It feels like home now." Noah nodded. "Yes, it is more than a home. It is a place of memories and happiness. Anyone who comes here will feel the love and care that filled this cabin long ago." The brothers decided to invite a few neighbors and friends to see the cabin. They wanted to share the story of the family and the treasures they had found. Everyone was amazed at the transformation. They read the letters, looked at the photographs, and admired the small objects. The visitors were touched by the story, and many said they felt as if the family was still present in the cabin. Buddy became the center of attention. Everyone petted him and laughed as he ran around happily. He seemed proud of the work the brothers had done and enjoyed seeing everyone appreciate the cabin. After the visitors left, Liam and Noah sat by the fireplace reflecting on everything that had happened. "I never imagined a $5 cabin could bring so much joy and discovery," Liam said softly. Noah nodded. "It is more than joy.
It is love, care, and connection."
We have learned so much from these letters and photographs, and we get to keep the memories alive." As night fell, the brothers sat quietly, listening to the gentle sounds of the forest. The stream reflected the moonlight and the stars shone brightly above. Buddy lay at their feet, tired but happy. The cabin felt alive, filled with the warmth of the family's memories and the happiness of the present. Liam whispered, "I think this cabin is teaching us something important. Happiness comes from caring for others, appreciating small things, and sharing love and kindness." Noah smiled. "Yes, and it also shows that memories never fade if they are treasured. This family's love is still here, and we are part of it now." The brothers decided to keep the cabin as a special place. They would spend weekends here exploring the forest, discovering more treasures, and enjoying the peace of nature. They also wanted to write their own letters and stories to add to the cabin, continuing the tradition of love and memories that had been left for them. Buddy barked softly, running to the window to look at the forest. Liam and Noah watched him and smiled. They knew that Buddy had been more than a companion. He had been a guide, leading them to the hidden treasures and helping them connect with the past. The $5 cabin, which had once seemed small and ordinary, had become a place of wonder, joy, and emotional connection. Liam and Noah had discovered not just memories but lessons about life, happiness, and the importance of love and care. They had brought the cabin back to life, honoring the family who had once lived there. As they prepared for bed, the brothers reflected on their journey. They had started with curiosity and adventure, and ended with understanding and heartfelt connection. The cabin was no longer empty or forgotten. It was alive with stories, laughter, and love. Liam looked at Noah and said, "I'm glad we found this cabin. It is teaching us more than I ever expected." Noah nodded. "It is a place of learning, memories, and happiness. And now it belongs to us in a way because we are caring for it and sharing its story." Buddy let out a soft bark, curling up beside them. The forest was quiet, the stream flowed gently, and the cabin glowed warmly from the fireplace. Liam and Noah fell asleep with smiles on their faces, dreaming of the family, the adventures, and the happiness that had filled this place. The next morning, they promised themselves that they would continue exploring, discovering, and adding their own stories to the cabin. Each day would bring new adventures and new connections, keeping the cabin alive and full of joy. The $5 cabin had become more than a building. It was a home, a treasure, and a bridge between past and present. Liam and Noah had found not just memories but lessons about love, care, and the joy of bringing something back to life. Buddy, their faithful dog, had guided them every step of the way, helping them uncover the true value of this little cabin. And so, the cabin stood quietly in the forest, no longer abandoned or forgotten. It was full of stories, happiness, and love. Liam, Noah, and Buddy had not only discovered the cabin's treasures, but they had also discovered the meaning of connection, family, and the power of memories. The adventure had started with $5, but it had given them something priceless. The cabin would continue to welcome anyone who came with an open heart, sharing its stories, treasures, and the warmth of a family who had loved it long ago. Liam and Noah knew that this was only the beginning of a lifetime of joy, discovery, and heartfelt moments at the $5 cabin.